Hello, this is Brian Resney, President of Resney Wealth Management. I'm bringing an important update about the economy and the investment markets so you can better understand what we see in the global landscape. You know, we continue to see the economy slowly improving, but slower than normal, probably because of the debt ceiling debacle and all the other stuff from Wall Street and the government officials. But at the end of the day, what I think is probably going to happen is quantitative easing, or QE2, that we talked about over the last few months, will probably not be tapered until the first quarter of 2014. Now, while this doesn't mean a guarantee for the equity markets to keep doing well, we are firmly invested in the relatively stronger investment sectors, primarily in small and mid-cap are our highest weightings right now across all of our global tactical opportunity portfolios. We're coming into month end. We've got a couple triggers that look like they may hit, and we may be doing an adjustment to the portfolio. But currently, we are fully invested. We haven't put any hedges on or taking risk off the portfolio, simply because right now we do have an all clear sign. And one of the things that I want to talk about our global tactical opportunity portfolios, not only can they have the opportunity to grow, but they also have the opportunity to protect in severe recessionary environments. These major drawdowns where people go down 20, 30, 40%. One of the things that's neat about our strategy is it's very adaptive to changing conditions. We don't just own equities, we don't just own the stock market in the US all the time. And this is typical for a lot of non-clients that hire our firm. In fact, the majority of the new clients that hire our firm every single month have what we call asset allocation, or what I call the failed pie, from investors or brokers that basically simply just put you in 25, 30 mutual funds or ETFs, and everything's overlapped. The Wall Street pie's premise is, well, let's just spread the money out all over the place, and at the end of the day, hopefully something sticks. It doesn't work, and I'm going to talk more about that on this Sunday show from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern. So if you get a chance, make sure you do tune into our show. If you're not in the viewing area, or the listening area I should say, you can always pull us up on the internet at any one of our radio stations and listen to me live. But we're going to talk about the failed pie. In fact, this month alone, out of the new clients that hired our firm, over half of those new clients had what we call the Wall Street failed pie. In fact, both of the two people that had the basic asset allocation from Wall Street firms had 30 different mutual funds and a bunch of ETFs, exchange traded funds, in the portfolio. When we did the analysis and explained what these people had, what we try to explain is basically you own 30 different mutual funds that pretty much 80% all own the same equities or stocks in the US. So basically you really don't have any diversification. It's kind of like taking a turkey sandwich and putting 6 loaves of white bread on either side. It's the same turkey, except you just have a lot more padding and bread that takes away from the turkey taste. What that ultimately does, it reduces your return, but actually doesn't reduce the risk of your portfolio. So we're going to talk about this Sunday, the Wall Street failed pie asset allocation. I can basically tell our clients, don't worry, you're not in that. We basically look at a very adaptive strategy off relative strength, our global tactical opportunity portfolios. So at Resney Wealth Management, while right now we do have a higher preference in small and mid cap in the US, it doesn't mean that we buy and hold these assets through thick and thin. We'll actually adapt the portfolio. There will be times where our clients will be very conservative and sitting in a lot of cash and treasury bills and short-term fixed income instrument when necessary. But I can tell you, from what we're seeing on all of our indicators, we are nowhere near a recession. Although the economy has slowed down just a little bit in the last month and a half or so because of the government debacle, I firmly believe we're going to see continued growth through year end and a possible pickup into 2014. So the bottom line is this: adaptive investment strategy works. Owning the Wall Street pie and 35 or 40 mutual funds or 35 or 40 ETFs does not work in a portfolio. I'm going to talk a lot about this on Sunday's show. In fact, I'm going to talk about why owning more than 5 asset categories within a portfolio, all it really does is it reduces your return, waters it down, but actually doesn't significantly decrease risk or drawdown. So what's interesting is the more assets you keep adding to your portfolio, the weaker the portfolio actually becomes and the less return you make given the same amount of risk. So there is a fine line for diversification. So at Resney Wealth Management, with our global tactical portfolio, we typically, in our growth or our conservative growth, we never run more than 5 asset categories within that portfolio at any one time. The reason for that? Simple. 6 lowers return and doesn't really lower risk. 7 lowers it more, and so on. We're going to talk about asset allocation and why too many investors rely on a false sense of security, and all it really does is hurt your returns and doesn't actually reduce the risk of your portfolio. Again, the economy is getting a little bit better. We see improvements across the board in most sectors. Emerging market economies are not doing bad, and we're seeing some pickup in the European nations. Of course, if you're a client of Resney Wealth Management, please call us if you have any questions. If you're not a client of Resney Wealth Management and you have the Wall Street failed pie, call us for a consultation. There is a difference. We do invite you to experience it. Make sure you have yourself a safe and profitable week, and listen to our live show this Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern throughout Florida. Have a great weekend.